George Ewilode, popularly known as Afrika, was a dynamic and charismatic 21-year-old revolutionary who had already made a significant impact on the campus of Obafemi Awolowo University. As the Student Union Secretary General, Afrika was a beacon of hope for the student community, championing their causes and fighting tirelessly for their rights. Alongside his close ally, legacy, the Student Union Government, SUG, President, Afrika was known for his unwavering determination and unshakable commitment to the student body. Together, they formed an unstoppable duo, taking on the school authorities and management whenever they attempted to intimidate, victimize, or oppress students. Their leadership style was characterized by a strong sense of justice and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Afrika and Legacy were not afraid to speak truth to power, and their bravery inspired countless students to stand up for their rights. Whether it was fighting against cultism on campus or advocating for better facilities and services, the duo was always at the forefront of the battle. One notable instance of their activism was when the school administration announced plans to increase school fees, a move that would have placed an undue burden on many students. Afrika and Legacy sprang into action, mobilizing students and leading a spirited protest against the proposed hike. Their efforts paid off, as the school was forced to reconsider its decision. However, their success came at a cost. It was alleged that Afrika and Legacy's resistance to the school's plans did not go down well with the Vice-Chancellor, who saw their actions as a challenge to his authority. The Vice-Chancellor, who had previously enjoyed unbridled power on campus, began to view Afrika and Legacy as a threat to his dominance. As a result, a subtle but palpable tension developed between the Vice-Chancellor and the student leaders. Afrika and Legacy, undeterred by the Vice-Chancellor's displeasure, continued to advocate for students' rights, pushing the boundaries of what was possible on campus. Their actions earned them the admiration of their peers, but also attracted the ire of those in power. Despite the challenges they faced, Afrika and Legacy remained committed to their cause, inspiring a new generation of student leaders to take up the mantle. Their legacy would be defined by their courage, conviction, and unwavering dedication to the student community. The university campus, once a hotbed of activism and student politics, had become a relatively calm environment in recent years. However, Afrika and Legacy's emergence had reignited the spark of activism, and students were once again taking notice. Their message of resistance and empowerment resonated deeply with students, who saw in them a reflection of their own struggles and aspirations. As Afrika and Legacy continued to push the boundaries of student activism, they faced numerous challenges and obstacles. But their determination and conviction remained unwavering, inspiring a new wave of student leaders to follow in their footsteps. The fate of Obafemi Awolowo University student community hung in the balance, and Afrika and Legacy were at the forefront of the battle for students' rights. Afrika, a passionate and principled law student, was deeply rooted in his cultural heritage. He believed fervently in embracing and celebrating his African identity, often incorporating traditional elements into his daily life. One way he expressed this was through his attire, frequently attending lectures in vibrant, colorful native clothing that reflected his cultural pride. This bold fashion statement, however, often put him at odds with some of his lecturers, who expected law students to adhere to a strict dress code of white shirts and black trousers. Afrika's refusal to conform was not a gesture of defiance, but rather a deliberate choice to assert his individuality and cultural identity. He firmly believed that his traditional attire was a vital part of who he was, and he wouldn't compromise on that. Beyond his distinctive style, Afrika was a well-known figure on campus, celebrated for his unwavering commitment to fighting against oppression and intimidation of students. Alongside Legacy, the Student Union Government, SUG, President, he was a vocal advocate for students' rights, always ready to challenge authority when necessary. Their partnership had become a powerful force on campus, inspiring many students to stand up for their rights. Afrika's popularity also stemmed from his involvement in the Kijite Social Club, a group that shared his passion for cultural expression and community building. Through his work with the club, Afrika had built a network of like-minded individuals who valued creativity, inclusivity, and social responsibility. However, the tranquility of the campus was disrupted by a disturbing incident that would change the course of Afrika's life forever. A group of Black Axe members, a notorious and feared organization, had assaulted and brutally beaten up some students. The incident was sparked by a seemingly trivial incident, some students driving recklessly had splashed water on the Black Axe members, who retaliated with ferocity. The Black Axe members, known for their intimidating presence on campus, had been growing in strength and influence. Their actions were often marked by violence and aggression, leaving many students feeling vulnerable and fearful. The assault on the students was just one example of their brutal tactics, and it sent shockwaves through the campus community. As news of the incident spread, tensions ran high. Afrika, already a vocal critic of cultism and violence on campus, was deeply disturbed by the event. He knew that the Black Axe's actions were a threat not only to students' safety but also to the very fabric of the institution. Little did he know that this incident would set off a chain of events that would alter his life and the lives of those around him forever. After the brazen public assault by the Black Axe members, the incident was swiftly reported to Legacy, the student union government, SUG, president. Upon learning of the violent attack, Legacy, alongside Afrika and other members of the student union, sprang into action. Their primary objective was to track down the perpetrators and bring them to justice. With a sense of urgency and determination, the group scoured the campus, searching for any sign of the Black Axe members. Their efforts were fueled by a desire to ensure the safety and well-being of their fellow students. As they navigated the campus, they suddenly heard suspicious noises and violent sounds emanating from the lecturers' quarters. Without hesitation, Legacy, Afrika, and the other student union members decided to investigate the source of the disturbance. They cautiously approached the quarters, their hearts racing with anticipation. As they entered the quarters, they were met with a shocking sight. The Black Axe members they had been searching for were indeed present. The student leaders quickly apprehended the Black Axe members, taking control of the situation. During a thorough search of the quarters, they made a startling discovery: an arsenal of weapons, including machetes, axes, shotguns, and machine guns, was hidden within the premises. This was a disturbing revelation, as it marked the first time such a vast array of weapons had been found on campus. The student union members knew they had to act swiftly and decisively. They handed over the Black Axe members to the police along with the cache of weapons. This bold move sent a strong message that violence and intimidation would not be tolerated on campus. In response to the incident, the Vice-Chancellor took immediate action, ordering a temporary closure of the school. All students were instructed to return home until further notice, in a bid to restore calm and order to the institution. However, the story did not end there. The arrested Black Axe members were taken to court, but a surprising twist emerged: there were no witnesses willing to testify against them. Despite the efforts of the police, Legacy, and Afrika, key witnesses to the incident, could not be reached, as the school was closed, and they had returned home. In the absence of witnesses, the case against the Black Axe members began to unravel. Eventually, they were released, as the prosecution's case had been severely weakened by the lack of testimony. The release of the Black Axe members sent shockwaves through the campus community, leaving many students feeling vulnerable and concerned about their safety. The incident highlighted the complex challenges faced by the institution and law enforcement agencies in addressing court-related violence. As the students awaited the reopening of the school, they couldn't help but wonder what the future held and whether the institution would be able to provide a safe and secure environment for all. After the Black Axe members were released and returned to campus, the student union government, SUG, president, Legacy, urged the Vice-Chancellor to take decisive action against the cultists. Legacy demanded that the Vice-Chancellor expel the Black Axe members from the institution, citing the threat they pose to the safety and well-being of students. However, despite Legacy's impassioned plea, the Vice-Chancellor seemed reluctant to take action. There was no indication that the Vice-Chancellor intended to expel or even suspend the cultists, leaving many students feeling frustrated and vulnerable. The tension on campus continued to simmer, and the situation eventually boiled over into violence. On an unforgettable night, during a gathering of the Kijite Social Club, a group of approximately 40 Black Axe members, armed with an array of weapons, invaded the social gathering. The cultists targeted students indiscriminately, injuring many and leaving some critically hurt. The SUG president, Legacy, managed to escape the carnage, but Afrika was not as fortunate. He was caught inside his room and brutally attacked and brought down by the Black Axe members. Several other students were also injured and brought down in the violence. The institution was plunged into a state of mourning as the news of the attack spread like wildfire. The cries and lamentations of the victims, their families, and friends echoed through the campus, leaving an indelible mark on the community. In the aftermath of the attack, the students, fueled by anger and a desire for justice, took matters into their own hands. They tracked down non-black ACS members, apprehending those they could find. Some cultists who attempted to flee the city were caught while on the run. In a fit of rage, the angry students brutally punished one of the black ACS members, bringing him down. The other arrested cultists made a shocking allegation. They claimed they were sponsored by the vice-chancellor to deal with the student union government. The vice-chancellor vehemently denied the allegations, but the SUG president, Legacy, countered with a damning observation. He pointed out that while the vice-chancellor had shown no inclination to expel or suspend cultists, he was quick to suspend student activists who spoke out against injustice. Legacy's statement sparked further controversy, raising questions about the vice-chancellor's priorities and the extent to which he was willing to go to suppress student activism. As the institution struggled to come to terms with the aftermath of the violence, one thing was clear: the students would not be silenced, and the demand for justice would continue to resonate through the campus.